Hello, everyone, and welcome to our halftime show. Trying something a little new today. It's an old game with a fresh new twist. So it is going to be Who's That Player? But instead of trivia about the players, I just went and found their Twitters, and I'm going to be posting up a tweet from them instead, and then you two have to guess the player that it's from, okay?
All right. So I feel like this is like the Jimmy Fallon segment, you know, where like we read mean tweets. Except instead of the players doing it, we are their representatives. So I feel like the Blazers with the t-shirts, we do look like agents today. Player agents, I must say. Matt Magical, you are an old school player agent from the 70s, okay? So that is your role for this next one.
Well, there's in particular one that I'm thinking about that if you're the agent that maybe you wouldn't be the most content seeing. But start things off. Let's bring up the tweet. Attached to it was a link to a Twitch channel, but of course I cannot post that because that was going to make things too easy.
Oh, I know this one.
Champs Q, bald if not top 10 by end of split. Exclamation coaching, playlist, TQGG, exclamation Discord, which exclamation playlist. I have to check that one out.
You know, those are, commands for Twitch chat. And I'm gonna let Matt Magical guess because I know this one. So
oh man, I'm scrapping my brain because I definitely know I've seen this title, but I can't remember what player it was.
I love the bald if not top 10 by end of split. A little heads up for
only one I can think of is Busio.
Ooh, I guess kind of close. What I will say is, Matt Magical, I appreciate you tuning into my Champs Q streams. They're very fun. Twitch.tv/CubbyXX. Same one below. Anyway, I rated Perry's stream, and this was his title at the last time. As this is for Perry. Couple other fun facts about Perry. He's actually a black belt and can put his leg behind his head.
I do know that.
Yes. While we're, just talking about Perry, I don't know. Maybe, going bald, a little bit more common in, fight camps training. It's part of the culture as well. So Perry, one with the culture, wasn't able to train in the top 10, going bald, trying to go monk mode. I respect it, I must say.
I love the turnaround here because all of a sudden I feel like Hubby's hosting. This is Perry. This is the fun facts about it. You're doing your job better than I am. I didn't have a fun.
I'm supposed to represent.
That's true. That's
yes.
Respectable. All right. See, all I did was grab their Twitter so people could go and.
Well, that's good. You should go follow Perry. He's a great follow and has really good streams. They're very educational. If you want to, pick up jungle, consistently reviews his play. Practice tools clears, talks about all of his decisions. Actually, it's a really good stream.
The one stream, not from Perry, but I won't say who it is for obvious reasons, that I managed to catch from an Academy player that stood out as they were trying to get into private lobbies to watch it on scrims. They actually got the password for one, and they're like, oh no, I gotta get out of here fast. And it was just a great experience all around. But I won't name drop just for obvious not getting them in trouble reasons.
It's a classic.
I like that. I like the classic. All right, for our next one, Cubby up 1 in this series. This did come along with a picture, but we're not going to put a picture because it was literally their face. But outside for the first time today, it's nice. Should be noted that this was back in April, and I really hope that they've been outside since, but never know with gamers.
I don't know.
Magical, are you okay?
April?
I'm confused. I'm just trying to think who this could be.
Gamsu. I'll guess Gamsu.
I'm gonna go with Tenacity.
Okay.
All right, but before we get into who it is, I will say it's not Gamsu. There was a tweet that I wanted to include from Gamsu, but it also included like his face, but it was a picture of his dog, and I figured at this point everyone might just know what his dog looks like anyways.
That's a good one. I lost my guess. I guessed to someone that's not even, I guess,
yeah, sorry.
This, so.
Now you know it's not going to be Gamsu. This is the free shout out to Gamsu if you want to go see pictures of his cute puppy. It's very cute.
And Chef Gamsu.
And Chef, yeah.
That's true. All right. Let's find the answer. Sorry, Cubby, you are wrong. Magical, also wrong. Right. This one was BMFX, though. With considering the caption, I honestly feel like a lot of people could have guessed this one. I probably most certainly could have. So
I don't know. I feel like BMFX has been spending a little bit more time indoors with his play this week. It's been actually really good to watch. I think he's really upped his play. someone that was a rookie, I think one of the weaker members of Academy in the first few weeks, doesn't feel like he's a passenger getting carried anymore. Looks like he's playing more of a role in the success for 100 Thieves. Really like to see that as we get closer to PG.
That's some good stuff. So Cubby's still up 1 in the series at this point. Now, the next tweet, there was an image with it in this one that I could post, and of course I had to post because it's the whole reason why this is funny or substantial in the first place. And it's definitely something that people out there can relate to.
This has gotta be insanity. Insanity's Twitter's bopping.
Yeah, I was about
so
to say,
it's insanity or tenacity for sure.
So
I'm gonna go with insanity.
I'll go with tenacity just to be different, but I think it's insanity.
That's crazy. But yes, it was insanity. It was a great guess. I like how you two knew that this was just sorry. Banger tweet.
There's certain
Twitter bot.
personalities, yeah. You just know from the moment you read it.
Yeah. Well, Magical, we'll give you like a half point for that one because
Yeah.
like, you guess
I took the bullet for that one, just being like, yeah, just to differ. We're not just both guessing the same thing.
I respect it, as always.
Respectable. All right. Going on into our next tweet, our second to last. We did have 5, so you couldn't end on a nice little tie for this one. First place Academy, easier than my high school finals. And considering all the young talent we have,
I think I know.
Yes.
It's either Will or Busio.
No, I think it's Will. I think
if you drop a timestamp on when this was tweeted out, that might help.
No way.
No, I'm pretty sure this one was Will.
They both graduated high school this year.
Yeah. But
all right. Well,
I don't know why. I feel like it's Will.
You can go Will. I'll go Busio. It's one of the two.
There we go.
All right, yet again, Cubby is correct. This one was from Busio. I did double take myself because I did pull up all of their Twitters at once and scroll, and I saw it, and I was like, wait a second, is this Will or is this Busio? Like, I did catch me off too, so it was a solid guess, but this one was Busio Magical. I'm sorry.
Well, hopefully me voting for Busio and winning is, foreshadowing of what's to come as we do our MVP vote this upcoming weekend.
And he's just gone and cast your curse it again.
But what I will say, go give Busio a follow, guys. This kid's very, very talented.
He's also got really good streams, I'll be honest. Like,
yeah,
I really enjoy
his point of view is very impressive, so go check him out for sure.
Yeah, please give all of our Academy players a follow because it might encourage some of them to post a little bit more.
Especially
because some
me.
of the Twitters
Follow
are
me.
lacking.
I beg of you, please. Please.
Damn, Magical, that's crazy. All right,
on
to our 5th and final tweet. This one is a picture yet again. We're making progress, showing this humongous puzzle. Yeah, 1,000 pieces sound small. Let's get the 1,500 piece one. 10 plus hours later.
Well, that's a fun bonding experience.
Yeah.
Sounds. Depending on who you're making the puzzle with, that's either a fun bonding experience or that is an infuriating experience.
I'm going with JJ. I'm going to go with JJ.
Damn it, JJ strikes me as a puzzle enjoyer too.
Yeah, that's all. Like, I had to take that before you guessed it because I'm like, I don't want to have to bite the bullet again.
Give me Neo.
All right, well.
It's not much of a tweeter, but.
Yeah, Magical beat you to the punch for this one. It was JJ. I like the logic. It just seems like a puzzle enjoyer. Is it that obvious who does and doesn't enjoy puzzles in their life?
Yo, puzzles are fun. I love puzzles personally.
I'm a big puzzle person, but I also have 2 chaotic cats, so I can't do puzzles.
I'll tell you why I thought it was JJ though. Okay. Not just that he was a puzzle enjoyer, but he said, "We got it." That's something that I hear him say a lot because he always talks about those around him and is very inclusive with people. He lives up to the mama bear. It's the mama bear mentality that we've seen from JJ so many times. The wholesome player who always wants to include everyone, wants to build them up. To me, it just struck as JJ.
I like how that's the mama bear vibe is the puzzle vibes, and it makes me think of going over to friends' houses and having their moms be doing puzzles on the table. I'm just sitting there with people's moms doing puzzles.
It was like a cute little cottage. Even more so mama bear.
All right. Well, I still think Cubby managed to beat you in this one, but still pretty close overall. And yet again, Academy players, just tweet a little bit more. make these segments a little bit more fun, but also let us and the viewers get to know a little bit more about you as we try and follow along on your journey.
We should set like a tweet quota for all the players. They have to post at least one tweet a day.
Did you get this idea?
All right, I don't even do that.
You get this idea from like a Reddit thread or something that's like trying to save viewership?
I totally came up with this idea all on my own. It is not derivative from anything that might have been posted on Reddit. I don't even know what Reddit is. Is it a magazine or something like that? I don't know.
Damn, that's crazy.
We did say he was an agent from the 70s.
Yeah. It's like I deal with magazines, you know?
I'm just dropping the "that's crazy" every time Magical talks. I'm sorry in advance for anyone who might get sick of this one.
I'm using that later today.
You got to drop it at the perfect moment. But before we head into Champ Select, let's talk a little bit about these two teams and what we got to see in that Game 1, Cubby.
It's a tough ask for Dignitas here, and I think that we can celebrate 100 Thieves. You know, against a team that hasn't had a lot of practice time together. I think 100 Thieves were able to make some nice coordinated plays. Busio getting out of lane was really good to see. I think that the roam top, while they did give away 2 kills, that was a good decision from 100 Thieves, something that we've been asking for out of them. Their mid games are really where we feel like they can buff up their gameplay the most as we get closer and closer to PG. We know they're a great team fighting team. We know these guys can win lanes through their individual play. We just want to see them really figure out how to play the map in the mid game as our youngest academy squad. And I think we saw some decent moments of that in this one.
Yeah, well, now looking into this game too, what do you want to see from Dignitas here, Magical? Like, what do you think were some successes that we can be highlighting, or you're never one to hold back your thoughts? Like, what do you want to see change?
I mean, honestly, I think the biggest thing I want to see change is side swap. I just think that it's hard to really go up against Tenacity with how deep his champion pool is, especially because he could just always counterpick you at any point. And then if you don't play around your power in the top lane when you have, the level 1 through 5 where you could try to punish Tenacity, it's not even worthwhile drafting that then. Just try to go for something that might be a little bit more reliable. Gamsu is a player that is well known for how he plays tanks and really builds up the rest of his team later on. He can play outside of that and has done so recently. But I always love to see him on things like the Sejuani top, like the Ornn top.
I think it's a good call out too from that match. We see the buffer again.
So good.
Big fan. It goes away when you flash, but I still like the attempt. It's the right idea there. As Busio is our really resident montage player, is I think a good way to sum up
Which is rare for
wonderful support.
support.
I know. He likes getting the montage clips. It's a big thing for Busio, but I'm a big fan of it. With that said, I think Red Side's a good call-out for Mad Magical, as a lot of times in our Academy games, this isn't the highest level of play in the world when it comes to League of Legends. That's okay. We like seeing our players develop and improve throughout the season.
Right.
And one thing that usually is really important when it comes to winning games at this level is having counterpicks. Red Side guarantees that you get a counterpick on 3 if you want it, and 5, a couple more. So I think that using Red Side counterpicks well could really help Dignitas get off on better footing on Red and try and take it into 100 Thieves in the next game.
And see, I like the point you brought up. It's this is Academy. It's not the top level of play, and it shouldn't be. These are players who are learning. They're growing all throughout the year, and we want to see that they are playing the best they possibly can, but also learning from certain mistakes. You learn better from mistakes than you do from just winning every game.
I mean, not only that, but it's also their first game as well, competing on a stage with this team. So, again, expectations were low. We're hoping to see some good signs from Dig so we can get more excited as we get closer and closer to PG. But it's a really tough ask for them and all the players getting thrown together late. So, hopefully we can see some better looks from Dig in this game as they try and come together as a team on our Academy stage.
I will say one of the things is the fact that they have to scramble together quick, is that we might be able to see this improvement game from game as they start to mesh together a little bit more. So hoping in this game too, we might get to see a little bit of that. Is time for Champ Select. So I'm going to send you two off. I'll catch up with you later.
All right, sounds good. Let's get into this game. And I want to see... Oh, hey, never mind. They did not swap sides. Dignitas remain on blue side.
I thought you wanted to see like Senna or something get let through. I was like, I'm always here for that when it comes to Busio games.
No. I wanted to see the side swaps. Not saying that. I mean, it's not the worst thing. Again, you got to learn somehow. So for Dignitas, now we just got to look at what they decide to draft here. It's similar drafts so far. They've banned everything the same except for that Silos that they immediately take off.
And we'll see if 100 Thieves decides to switch it up, as, of course, they are pushing a little bit for seeding. They did come into the day tied with C9 for second. Important to note, both C9 and 100 Thieves. C9 plays TL today. 100 Thieves plays TL Honda tomorrow. So, somewhat even on the schedules for both these teams as they wrap up their round robins. Of course, TL versus C9. That is our last game on this stream tonight, 5 p.m. Pacific. Please catch that game. It's two of our best Academy squads going toe-to-toe. Really exciting. As we have a few appetizers to get there first.
Games. Honestly, just
catch all the games, but come on, Mad Magical, that's an exciting one. We can hype that one up a little bit more.
Oh, of course we can. I mean, I'm also excited for the FlyQuest Immortals one. That's on the other stream at twitch.tv/path to LCS. There's a lot of good games, a lot of good action here on our channels for Academy, as we can see here in draft. With the adaptations from, just a little bit of adaptation coming in from the bans. We saw that it was Azir that was taken off immediately by, not immediately, third by 100 Thieves, which meant Zeri taken for Neo, and DMFX back onto that Aphelios that he's been playing really well on.
And 100 Thieves are going to choose to switch it up, maybe play out a different draft scenario, as BMFX the Aphelios has been really big for him. I think that he's now 2-2 on the champion, but I don't care about the record. It's just been a better look for him overall as a player. But 100 Thieves, they are going to opt to switch things up. Take the Wukong for Will that he is 10-1 on in this split, as Perry goes for the Hecarim. We ran a Hecarim highlight for Perry earlier from his stream. Hecarim Yuumi. I think Hecarim is a pick that is playable into Wukong. Yeah. You can clear him, and while the Divine Thunder Spike is big for the Wukong, Hecarim can scale a little bit depending on what kind of runes and masteries you opt for in this matchup. But if Perry decides to go for a scaling build, that is a very scary comp that Dignitas have locked in with a Hecarim, Yuumi, and Zeri in the later stages of the game. You just have to get there.
You got to get there. You got to be able to push through. And I'm glad you talked about how Perry has been playing a lot of this on the stream, because I was talking about Kayn, comfort. And this is comfort for Perry. It's not exactly the Kayn that I'm like, yeah, I want to see that. I want to see him play that. But it's still something that he's well versed in, and he understands the matchup into Wukong. This puts him into into the saddle that he can actually ride properly into the battle.
I guess the cat and Wukong didn't work out, so it's the cat and the horse now. We're going to see if that's better synergy for the side of Dignitas. It's what we're figuring out in our early days with this roster. Of course, this is the first day that Dignitas is rocking Perry on their official lineup. First day Domsu's in Academy for this split as well. So Dig has some late season roster changes given the River move and the buyout that did occur there from Golden Guardians, but they're trying to figure out at both levels here as we have a few weeks left in our LCS season. This is the last week of our Academy season, though, before we get into PG. So hopefully Dignitas, again, can just keep on scaling into the split, as I actually really like the Zillion ban coming out from 100 Thieves here. I think that's a good shout as Insanity. His champ pool is deep, and Zillion would really shut down any plans of snowballing this game forward, potentially for 100 Thieves.
But you see, on the Dignitas side, still aiming towards the top lane, with Fiora and Aatrox taken off the table. Only things left are what Jimmian and Tenacity want to play, and I wouldn't be surprised if they grab something that has that flexibility, something that can move around in either top lane that we've seen Tenacity play, or even for Jimmian. And with the kind of hovers they've had so far, well, never mind. The hovers were kind of indicating they wanted that, but instead they grab Ahri, and you know what that could mean for Insanity, right? Right?
What's it mean?
It could mean Veigar.
Oh, yeah, Veigar's an option here. Veigar has seen some nerfs. I feel like that Event Horizon cooldown increase took Veigar out of the meta a bit, but it was one of Insanity's best champs at high ping. We'll see if that's the case here, as the Gragas, that Aatrox ban does make a little bit more sense, as Gragas, we'll see what the pick is for Tenacity into that. Could easily go for something like Yone, which was hovered earlier if he does want that. But we have the counter for Insanity. He's got a deep champ pool. And again, Insanity, we feel like he's been playing really, really well in this Academy split. I would really like the Lissandra here. It gives Dignitas an early game bridge now, so the mid lane can move, impact the side lanes, especially bot. Gragas self-sufficient on the top side. Perry is able to path top to bot on blue. I feel like this is a nice early game setup here for the side of Dignitas.
But if someone's able to punish the top lane, it is Tenacity. Tenacity is someone.
Mord.
I know. The Mord, I'm looking to see him go back to that. The Mord is really good here, especially with the comp. Let's see. No, goes for Gwen. Gwen getting kind of retooled on the past patch. So she has been a little bit more of that niche pick, kind of resurging back in the meta.
So historically, Gragas was a matchup into Gwen where you could somewhat neutralize it early. And then in the team fights, you just try and bop Gwen around to prevent her from doing damage. It was just a way to control her. Gwen did win on the sides, but with the changes, Gwen's early lane phase was taken down a peg, got a little bit stronger in the team fights, just given the resistances that you get now from that Shroud. So I am curious how this early game goes, because especially with that E nerf on Gwen, that could really change up this matchup that was a common handshake that we've seen for really the whole season, especially looking at some other regions like LCK, where they played a ton of Gragas in spring. So I am curious to see if I haven't seen much of this matchup since the Gwen changes. I'm curious to see how that looks in this one, and if Gamsu can put together a little bit of a better performance in this game.
The thing is, with Gamsu playing Gragas, it to me more leans towards him playing more of that tank build Gragas that we've seen from some people, even though the AP build has been more popular in top lane. But he could go for Everfrost, he could go for something that's kind of tanky-ish to kind of get around the issue and still be that front line.
It is his most played so far this split. I think that Gamsu's Gragas has been nice. And Gragas kind of a forgotten about pick in the top lane in terms of weak side top laners. So that's where Gamsu specializes. We'll see if he can step up into Tenacity for this matchup.
Yeah, and you got to step up against Tenacity. This is a guy you've got to be able to hold your own against, because if you don't, especially on something like Gwen, a late game terror, split push menace, this all plays into how well Tenacity likes to play, and even leans a little bit to Jimmian and having him inside lane so they can try to set up a 1-3-1.
Could be an option for Hunter Thieves moving forward. I will say, getting that Ahri out of the mid lane, that could be a breaking point for Hunter Thieves, is Lissandra. Excellent matchup into Ahri. Expect to see the electrocute from Insanity. Should be fun, but we'll see what ends up happening, as I'm getting worried that we're getting close to hopping in the game.
I'm hearing that same thing, and I'm ready for this second game. I want to see Dignitas bounce back into this game, get back onto the Rift, and look like they're here to win, especially against 100 Thieves Academy, one of our top teams in Academy, looking to see if they can fight with the best, keeping up with Team Liquid.
It's a big matchup.
Oh, look at that pull. The cinematics. Perry, no. He dies in a cinematic call. What an intro.
Oh, man. Oh, okay. That's not the start I wanted to see for the side of Dig, as...
that's brutal.
Man.
Production, why'd you have to do that to him? I can't believe you've done this to poor Perry.
I wanted to see the top lane matchup on even footing, but that is a Dark Seal now for Tenacity, so I guess Gwen just wins, as Tenacity did burn the Ghost, but should be good to go in the top side, as that's a tough start for the side of Dignitas. Again, I do want to return to this matchup. I think Lissandra into Ahri is a very good matchup for the Lissandra. If Lissandra is able to get mid-pressure, can transition that into side lanes and use that to bridge to the later stages of the game, with this comp for Dignitas should hit its mark. So I still think that Dignitas, again, it's a draft where they have some winning angles, as Tenacity. We'll go find Perry on an objective. He's going to get pinched. Yeah.
A nice call from Gamsu. We'll get a bit of damage back on Tenacity, but Tenacity, with those scissors, snipping a bit at Gamsu's butt, chasing him back over to the lane, but so essentially nothing really happened.
Perry, as we predicted, going top to bot, trying to support this Zeri Yuumi. Make sure that Zeri is set up for success in the hands of Neo, as Will be opting for the mirrored path in this one, also starting his blue. Trying to work up towards this top side where Tenacity is already ahead.
Yeah, when you get gifted an early first blood like that, you're going to be able to get that advantage. Like you called out, the Dark Seal already is in his inventory compared to only a Mana Crystal for Gamsu. So should be Tenacity favored for quite some time, unless we get Perry up into the top lane. But I feel like Perry, dying so early into the game, it didn't really deter too much of his pathing, and he'll be able to power farm really fast to try to get to level 6.
It only matters for the top lane matchup, as Gamsu's feeling pretty bad at the moment, as it's under turret almost already, as Karagas into Gwen. Tenacity playing this one out nicely, as Will also allowed to clear pretty much without any contestation, given the fact that it is mirrored clears. The good thing for Perry is that he can
oh, jeez.
a little bit quicker on the clear, as this is something that Tenacity can do.
Yeah.
Given that they know that Perry started on the top side, Perry's got to be bot at this point of the game. He's already ahead. Really like Tenacity dirty farming those waves. It could enable a quicker reset if he would like, and can always threaten Gamsu for the dive. No one's here, but Tenacity points out very nicely early with the advantage. He was granted level 1.
I almost feel like Tenacity's just trying to see if he can stay top lane long enough to grab an early plate, too.
It should be the plan. I mean, he almost already has one.
Right. It's like just one more wave, or even if he tries to proxy the wave as well, he should be able to get one more. Well, let's turn our attention elsewhere, because that's just going to be a hard matchup for Gamsu, and we're going to expect it to be Tenacity favored for quite some time, like right there. But let's look at the junglers. So, we already have Will getting the Scuttle Crab. Bot lane, I believe, is where Hecarim tried to visit. Was that kind of hanging? No, what am I talking about? He's up
Just
top.
full clears.
Yeah, he's full clearing. Wanted to be able to get that Scuttle Crab top lane, but now into the bot lane. This is kind of why I was hoping that he was in the bot lane, because I expected to see a lot of danger for Neo. He dies to BMFX Fire. And JJ, you're a little cat against a guy in a suit of armor. It's going to be difficult, but here's Perry answering the play of the bot lane, looking for Tenacity, getting a bit of damage with Gamsu's help. But who's in trouble? It might be Gamsu, or is it Tenacity? As there goes the ghost for Perry. Then they kill him. Gamsu getting the kill credit.
Trade across the map. Busio finds a great dredge line on the bot side, connects on the Neo, and that's a kill for 100 Thieves, but it is answered top as Perry. He completed that full clear top to bot. This is a timer where Tenacity has to expect the parries on the top side going for that second Gromp, given that Hecarim had not been spotted yet. Not paying respect to that, ends up getting punished, as it was a good play from Perry.
Yeah, just a really good read. Even if the flash body slam did not connect on Tenacity, all in all, they're able to get the kill, get Gamsu back into this game where he's in a position that he won't be quite as far behind Gwen anymore.
Good to see from Perry. And again, Perry as a jungler, his time with Evil Genius's Prodigies and Team 300 in Amateur, I would say that Perry was someone in Amateur that, you know, being the very young jungler he is, he actually makes good decisions. Like, has a good idea of where to path as a jungler, what to do, and is someone that I'm kind of looking to round out his play more so with, you know, having this raw mechanical ability on top of making good decisions. I think that's where Perry, you know, once he starts showing more moments on that and more highs like he can show on the Kayn, that's where Perry, to me, gets to be even more exciting as a player. The fact that he's so young, is getting an opportunity on the Academy stage. I know it's a crummy scenario for Dignitas, but it's a great opportunity for Perry. I want to see if he can make the most out of it.
So do I. It would be nice to see him bounce back into this game pretty well. Getting that assist topside will help him out a bit. Now it's about making more than just the one play. We saw this last time. Great early play. Then after that, things fell apart. So for the growth of Perry, it's always imperative to kind of watch how he'll move around the map, especially when you have a Yuumi and Lissandra on your team.
Yeah, a lot of capability for the side of Dignitas to, again, make plays with the Wisps. Insanity has not been able to get out of the lane yet. You can see it has an item advantage in the mid lane, sitting on that lost chapter. No lost chapter yet for Jimmian. So good laning from Insanity. We'll see if Dignitas can do anything to free up this Lissandra now that she has 6. That's a big part of the game for Dig. It's going to be about getting Insanity out of lane or making plays around this to give Dig something to stand on while they try and scale up into the later stages of the game where that Yuumi Zeri can take over.
We have to keep in mind, this game really isn't the most imperative for seeding. It's just more of what to expect going into Proving Grounds. In 100 Thieves, we already expect to be a very strong candidate for a finals contender. But Dignitas, with the whole new roster, a whole new look this late into the season, we want to see them be able to get themselves together quickly. How fast can they get that synergy with one another? How fast can they build up this team in order to do well in Proving Grounds?
Yeah, and Dig is a team that, you know, given their performance so far this split, they have locked that top 6. It's not 100% locked. If they win one game, I believe it is 100% locked, given that's like how close it is. We're expecting Dig to be top 6. There are very few scenarios where that's not going to be the case. So it is good for Dig to get 2 lives, but still, you know, given the opportunity to have some stage games with this brand new roster they're debuting today, that's really, it's a new arc. It feels like week 1 for them, except it's week 7. We're going to the PG very soon. So see if Dig can answer the call.
At least they got to try. If they don't answer the call, then we're gotta be a little worried for how they'll perform in Proving Grounds and how they'll be able to group up with together, or even if they're going to make a deep run, be the dark horse despite having a new team.
Oh, minion caught for Busio. I was about to say there's a bit of a trade going on the map as that top side, Gamsu's done a really nice job of slow pushing, has an item advantage over Tenacity given the kill that Perry granted to him. So Perry's going to use that and the Wasandra winning the lane to take the Rift Herald. 100 Thieves going for the answer point on the bot side, did not connect the dredge line, cannot find the Zeri.
No, Zeri will be fine, which, like you said, with the cross-map play that was happening at the same time, is going to be beneficial for Dignitas. And I'm curious to see where Perry's going to visit with that eye, whether it be try to help out this bot lane that is suffering a good amount to get against BMFX and Busio.
It is still plates right now going over to the Aphelios. That's never a bad thing. Gold now in these Herald trades, it is good. So they don't find the kill, but they are able to at least help BMFX get ahead as Cleanse burn from Jimmy and Spellbook.
Yes, and Jimmy and kick in with Ignite should be fine. I was a little distracted. I was trying to figure out the first results of the Immortals Academy, FlyQuest Academy, and I will spoil that. So with the first game going to FlyQuest, this does mean that Dignitas are a lock-in for a top 6.
All right, there we go.
Because the only team that could possibly get it would be Immortals, because they're 4 games back. And without that, they're now 4 games back with 3 games left, so it is impossible.
Well, I'm glad that you can multitask, Mad Magical, checking out 2 streams at once, getting some results in. And
the thing is, it doesn't mean that Immortals are out of the contention for top 6. They're just out. They just can't take away a spot from, say, Dignitas.
Dig trying to take this mid outer away from 100 Thieves. As a couple plates being taken down. Perry actually making a play for the Raptors. Dignitas might be cut off here. Busio's wrapping around.
Yeah, but keep in mind, they can use the claw to get out of there. They have flash as well.
No
with
ult.
Charge, but now charm too, and no ult. Insanity's in a world of hurt, but that was a good Ring of Frost. Unstoppable onslaught. They got a lot of fears, but no way to save the mid laner's life. So Perry, instead, just clearing out the minion waves the best he can.
Oh, solo ult.
Okay, solo ult with that exhaust as well, but the flash from BMFX surviving danger.
Burning both songs while your support is made to play mid is not ideal for the marksman of 100 Thieves, but I will say this is another good setup and map movement from Busio playing Nautilus into Yumi. You have the opportunity to get freed up, make plays as the support, and Busio, again this time around, finding a play mid on the Wasandra. What we talked, or really pitched as kind of the bridge for Dignitas, trying to get them into the later stages of the game, utilizing the power that Wasandra brings earlier with that ultimate, with some of the push she's able to get in these lanes, especially into the Ahri lane. Good play from 100 Thieves to attack Wasandra, try to neutralize that, and again, we'll see if they can hit this mid-game hard. That's really what we're looking for from them.
This is where we have to turn our eyes back over to Perry, and where he's positioning on the map, because he was in the right place at the right time that time around. But unfortunately, there are too many members rotating. The macro from 100 Thieves sending up Busio to make that play work. While it did leave BMFX on an island, and he had to flash away to be able to survive, the 100 Thieves find the play and the advantages around this dragon.
Busio was stuck between a rock and a hard place there, but was able to get out.
He had flash.
Not going to look for the Zeri. Well, you know what? Mad Magical Flash is an offensive summoner spell.
Hey,
you got to use it as such.
Now look at that. He tried to go for the offensive flash, unfortunately just barely missing that dredge line. With the ult gone from BMFX as well, could leave them in a position where Perry, now that he has Ghost up and soon to have the Onslaught of Shadows up, could look for a play himself, but we still have yet to really see that impactful play we're asking for Dignitas in these early stretches of the game.
100 Thieves, 1K gold lead, I will say, for Dignitas. I feel like this draft helped them get out of the early game a bit better, and they are on stronger footing as well. That ult doesn't connect.
Nope.
Busio doesn't feel like he can
Neo.
chase. And now Jimmy,
He's
caught.
With that frozen tomb right into the fear. The onslaught of shadows flashed away. The claw not good enough. Jimmy, he always somehow finds a way to live.
Like the preemptive flash, that was definitely necessary from Jimmy to now Perry.
Perry's now in danger. The play almost working. Guess who's back? Back! It's Jimmy.
Oh, using the Ari to the fullest BMFX. Oh.
Okay, BMFX will die in the trade. So it is a 1-for-1 trade globally. But all in all, that still favors 100 Thieves in my book.
Yeah, it showed one spot, burned both sums this time around. Doesn't have any available, so BMFX falls, but 100 Thieves, again, really like seeing Will and Busio work together to make some plays around this mid lane.
Tenacity. You don't have Riftmaker yet. You do heal a little bit from the Blighted Jewel. You got to be careful. Oh, not Blighted Jewel. What is that? Leeching Leer.
There.
But it's still a risky fight to try to fully go against Gomsuin.
Hey, you did get the flash out of him. That's a trade up in cooldowns, given the fact that Ghost, shorter CD than Flash, not bad for Tenacity. Able to get that wave in and get the TP out of Gamsu as well.
Yeah, so Tenacity will be the benefactor in that top lane, getting all the leads necessary so that even with his own TB probably being expended to get to the top lane, still doesn't have to worry about that flash on Gomsu. The flash belly slam, that is a powerful tool Gragas has, as well as not having to worry about Gomsu leaving for potential cross-tap play.
And Tenacity somehow got the blue buff out of all that, taking that away from Perry from the looks of things. Must have happened while all the action was going on elsewhere in the map.
Yeah, it had to have been when all that action mid lane was happening, or say even the bot lane play. They're just like, all right, there's a bunch of chaos. Perry's dead. We can take this away. Now Perry looks to get it back for himself. He's looking at Tenacity like, hey, you have something from me. You stole this from my camp. But Will could say, we are the robbers. We are the thieves. But he couldn't. It was all Perry all the way. The flash coming in from Will onto Perry. Body slam away. Perry will die to the Nimbus strike. And now Gomsu will fall with them. A killing spree for Jimian.
And the aggression from Will. This is someone, again, we really hype up as having good mechanics. Being able to make good decisions. Oh, Busio.
Oh, wait a minute, though. Gale Force in with the Moonlight Vigil, and they burn down Neo. Yes, hey, oh no, Busio. But Busio says, I see a play, I see an angle, and we'll take it.
Another one connects, at least the all-in, as BMFX Busio have been so solid in the bot side the last couple of days. But I gotta say, again, the top side will. Taking the 1v2, knowing that all the cooldowns were burned on Tenacity, his ability to turn that around, having Jimmy in his back pocket too, that's huge.
Oh.
We pitched Lissandra as the one that was going to get out of lane, and now Lissandra's going to try and do that.
Getting out of lane and having a pony, the Pony Express, galloping towards this play. The FX, he's just dead. There's no way out of this. Cleanse was already burned. Nice pickup by Perry.
Good play from Dig, like that use of TP from Insanity, getting something back, but tower has fallen. Perry should... We'll see if he starts the dragon from this. They don't exactly have control over mid or bot yet. So Perry, actually realizing that, will drop the crab that goes over to Will, and that should dissuade the dragon.
Hey, this is a much better look for Dignitas, just from one game to the next.
Yeah.
They're not nearly as far out. Like, we looked at the 16-minute mark last time. They were 7K behind 100 Thieves. Sure, they are down about 3K, but they're finding these plays. They're finding picks. They're getting themselves back into the game. The only thing left to see is somehow get Neo in a position where he can contend against BMFX.
And I think that's the big concern as we shift into the mid game for the side of Dignitas is, yes, it's been a better showing. I mean, they're not down 7K gold at 15 minutes. That's good. It is 3K, though. And Insanity is going to become more and more of a problem on the Gwen, especially in the side lane. And the one that we really pitched as the late game savior, as you called out, Neo, he's very far behind on gold. Yes. So as long as that's the case, 100 Thieves can push things very heavily in the mid game, really try and make those good map plays. We see them doing so here, taking that second rift, dropping it to get 2 crashes, 2 turrets mid. They can exit and take the dragon as well. This is great macro play coming out of our youngest team that we have in Academy.
You like to drive that narrative, but it is so well-deserved for a young team like this to have macro the way they do. Shows that they got so much promise for the future from every single lane on the team. Even BMFX really starting to come into his own. Now he's no longer on that Senna duty that he had been for so long, even the Seraphine, because both of them have been taken away. It's the Cephalios that we now have to look at BMFX playing so well.
And for BMFX, you know, his time in amateur being a rookie, I thought that, you know, he had his best performances on things like Jinx, these long-range marksmen. I must say, BMFX didn't come with a ton of tape. I know that his POV was very impressive for 100 Thieves in their scouting from spring to summer, so ended up landing on the roster. And I think the BMFX, you know, fortunately, it started to show more of the highlights that 100 Thieves saw at that point later into the season. I know that one of the really big hopes for him is that BMFX coming into this actually never really spammed a ton of solo queue, was down on games, and 100 Thieves, they, you know, kind of looked at that and said, hey, there are things in this POV missing that we think, you know, if we get them in our academy system playing scrims and playing champs queue every day, we can fix on its own. And it's been good to see BMFX really step up.
Nice Everfrost, nice flash there. Sorry to interrupt you. It looked like Insanity was in danger.
That's he had flash, man, magically. You're fine. That's your turn to talk. Just trying to go on my, you know, the BMFX background story, the rant.
Continue it.
We've got some time. It's a quiet game.
I mean, it's not really quiet. We're talking, so I could be quiet if you want, but I don't think that people out there would like that, especially if Jimmy is getting caught like this, where Perry can chase him down. Onslaught of Shadows, they have the damage, and it will be Jimmy who should fall. He dies to JJ, but now in the midst of the fight, Neo can pop off. He's got the damage from the side. If he can start cleaning up these kills, that might turn it around. Now they got Tenacity in the middle of everyone with BMFX on the other side. They got to be careful. Gomsu taking a lot of damage, flashing away, but it's Tenacity who took even more. And now the flash over from Will. Body blocked by the belly flop, but Neo now getting chased down and hunted. They've got the... Oh, I thought they had the pull from the kid, but they got the damage from the other one. BMFX finding the ace.
And on the back half of that fight, BMFX cleaned that up so nicely. As we're going to take a second look, Jimmy again burning flash to barely get away. This is a decent opportunity for Dig as it's a 1v3. But Jimmy gets back to his team, and when Will goes in, he's the one that receives the Lissandra ult, but Lissandra still gets knocked up, and Neo can never get in because Tenacity's TPing. So Neo is split in this fight. 100 Thieves isolate the members in the back half, take them down, and then they can chase. And BMFX, the cleanup that we see here, two-man ult, nice Gale Force, step forward. Another good look from Isopelios.
Also that Moonlight Vigil right there, barely connecting over the wall so they can turn it around. And then, as you talked about, just that Gale Force forward saying, Neo, we're taking you too. There's no survivors.
Really nice. He used both of his gun actives to make that happen. Is now Jimmy.
Okay, you've got to learn your lesson, Perry. If you couldn't kill Jimmy the last time, you got to leave him alone. He's way too slippery at this point.
They're wrapping around. Busio Will are on the bot side. We'll take the blast cone over. Fall short on the play, but again, we're looking for it. Our spotted on a ward right now.
Okay. Perry got Yumi on the back, so a little bit more movement speed, more chase down capabilities when you got the zoomies. But it's still looking rough. Where the game had been slower. It had been quite some time where it wasn't that large of a gold lead for 100 Thieves. It's now ballooned to 5,000 here, just over the 21-minute mark. The fact that they have this play already set up, they've got that wraparound you were talking about. With just the 3 here from Dignitas around this low health turret, it could be risky for them to even stay.
Yeah, 100 Thieves got mid-prio for this one, but there is no wave top, so this should be turned, and Jimmyin doesn't have any ult, and Jimmyin is dead.
Yep, Jimmyin, you overstayed your welcome this time. Last time, you had ult. This time, you overplayed your hand, and now it's put everyone else in danger with Will diving onto Neo. That's going to be the ult burn. With that lightning surge, Neo will die unstoppable. Will, how does Will do it?
Will.
He's still alive. Core Drinker, no, it's not Core Drinker, it's the Son of Divine Trinity, so they can turn it around, and they've got it. How in the world did 100 Thieves turn this one around? If it's not just the kid, it's all the other ones. This young, talented roster finds these plays.
That ball for Will, he was just invincible in that fight. He one-shot Neo, who was already behind, and then the team comes up to follow up, and Will and Busio turning that around. That was a play that looked grim. They let their mid laner die for naught, but guess what? The Naught and the Wukong are the ones that stepped up in the end. We take a second look. Jimmyin has no ult. He only has a heal. This is the right play from Dig. They get a freebie. but they're behind. And Will and Busio, they had other plans. They were lying in wait. Perry burning that ultimate to pick up that kill. I think it was necessary. Might have been able to play long chase against the Ahri, but Will stepping up, just one-shots Neo, and then kites the BMFX, and the damage, once the Aphelios joins, this fight's over.
Exactly. He's got enough damage to pack. They've already blown everything else to look for that pick earlier that you were talking about onto Jimmy. So pretty much it was just a shooting range for BMFX.
Yeah, just gets to play team fight janitor. That's every marksman's favorite thing. No cooldowns to worry about. Just gets to step up with no consequences, as Insanity, he stepped up in this lane and might face some consequences.
Claw with the Ring of Frost, but Perry nearby. He gets the attention of Will. The charge does not connect, so they can get a little bit more damage back on Jimmy. And you can see just the difference between the two teams. Which team has all the gold? Because even though you had more members of Dignitas, they took more of the damage, and now Gomsu. I get you're looking for BMFX, but they still got 4 top.
He was spotted. That was a bummer. If he's not spotted in BMFX's mid, that would be a great pick for Dignitas. Not the case, though, and with the structures falling, we are back where we were in our game 1 here, Mad Magical, as it is 24 minutes into the game, and it's a 1K, 10K gold lead for the side of 100 Thieves.
10K gold lead. There's no depths for Will. 5-0 and 8 on this Wukong. He's only ever dropped a single game in the summer split on this champion.
Yeah.
It looks like he's going to continue that domination with another W.
It's an 11-1 Wukong after this game. And I think it speaks to how well Will has played in some of the team fights, but also speaks to the strengths of 100 Thieves as a team, which really is the team fights. And when Will is able to get Wukong, this champion of Divine Thunder is still so strong. Doesn't clear the jungle quite as fast after a couple of the nerfs, but does the same things in team fights, and Will always gets the most out of it.
As they take that mid inhibitor, you can tell 100 Thieves are ready to end this game soon. Dragon is up. They could always peel back for that, but why bother when you have such a gargantuan lead? Just take all the structures, go buy your final items, and that's when you can push for the win.
More structures falling. Baron's about to be up. They can use the Empowered Recall to reset, or they can just take a Dragon on exit. Looks like it's split. It's been a bit of a quiet series. You know, usually week 7, we do get some bangers in our last week of Academy. But given the way roster changes for Dignitas, it is tough to really get excited to put a lot of stock into this game as Dig. I mean, just haven't practiced a lot as a team.
And that's
the best news, though.
What's that?
For 100 Thieves, Busio in this Nautilus versus Yuumi matchup, I think has made some really nice map plays and good decisions. And 400 Thieves moving forward, I think the two things they really need to buff up for PG if they want to give TL a run for their money and really be a top team that's tough to take out of the tournament. Better mid games and better coordination between Will Busio.
Right.
I'd say those are two big ones, and also BMFX stepping up. As long as that's the case, this was the weakest performer of the 100 Thieves Academy squad so far this split. It feels like he's not a passenger anymore. He's really contributing to these wins and making big plays to help the rest of his team. That's great to see in our final week of the regular season. And
with Proving Grounds just next week, this is what you want to see out of your team that were the runners-up in spring. Even though they swapped out a couple of players. They changed up things. They don't have Kenvi. They don't... Gomsu now here on Dignitas. Wixie no longer on the roster. They're still playing to try to be the #1 team. They're looking for that title like they got in summer.
This really is an exciting Academy roster because, again, the youngest roster we've ever seen. They're in second. I see multiple players on this roster that have ceilings that are like top 5 in LCS in their role. Like Busio, Tenacity, arguably if he started this split, I think would already be pushing that. Busio is someone that I see could have one of the craziest careers as a support that came from NA. I really think that Busio's career will be defined as who is the better support that developed in NA between him and Vulcan. I know he has a while to go, but I really think that's the ceiling of this kid. He can make a push to be the best support that we've ever seen NA develop.
I agree with you. He's just
does some ridiculous things. He does some ridiculous things.
I mean, you've called it out. The fact that he's learning from Carrier, looking for those auto cancels, and we see now with a potential fight, he's got the pull back in. So Nighty Night Pony put down to rest.
Nice charm from Jimmy, makes everything else easy to connect for the side of 100 Thieves. And I mean, I think for Busio, it's not only some of the things that he's accomplished, it's also the time frame in which he's done it. I mean, 100 Thieves in spring, that was the worst team in the second round robin. All of a sudden made second. And Busio in PG was really good. He really stepped up his own play. And it's only gotten better this split. And with a new marksman, too. Someone that's a rookie. He played with 2 rookies as a rookie himself. And he's been able to make this sort of improvement on a wider range of champions as well. I mean, from the Yasuo to the Pyke to the Lulu to now the Nautilus. It really is getting to the point of what is next for this guy, because it feels like he's really improved and conquered a lot of things in Academy. Mechanically, I think he's ready for the next step. I think he still some things to do to work on his map play versus some of the LCS supports, but I think that the ceiling and the potential, I don't really love to use that word, but for Busio, I think given what he's been able to accomplish mechanically, he's able to round out his play, he could be a ridiculous support at the next level, and I really have faith he's going to be able to do so.
I feel like there's arguments that can be made for Busio, for Will, for Tenacity. Even if we look on the other side of the map, for someone like Insanity, who's trying to make his resurgence here in Academy, proving that he's still worth his salt. This series, not showing it. This series has been really rough for Dignitas, but this is why we have to preface it by saying, what more could you really want from a team that just got together last night?
Yeah, that's why we have low expectations, and again, why this is kind of turned into a podcast of what's going on for PG as the Baron is secured here for 100 Thieves. 2 inhibs are down. This should wrap it up.
This should be the final push.
Yeah.
So Perry, I like this angle from him, but you're so far behind in gold, it's not really going to matter too much unless you can dive onto BMFX immediately. They've got the damage. A nice use of stopwatch. BMFX, the perfect time to survive. Even if he got gone through in the back line, he's still wailing away. BMFX left nearly untouched. Wall, you got the scissors snipping everyone down. Got Neo. They've got everyone. Insanity, the last to fall. A triple kill for Gwen and a game of 2 for 100 Thieves.
And 100 Thieves with C9 playing TL later today. 100 Thieves being tied with C9 in the standings earlier with the 2-0. They guarantee that they are going to be at least second or tied for second when they face TL tomorrow. And that is the true test for 100 Thieves, because all these things we've been talking about, better mid games, better map play, better coordination between jungle and support, that is what our top team in Academy has done so well since spring moving into summer. And 100 Thieves get tested by them tomorrow before we hop into Proving Grounds to have our postseason in Academy. That's a really exciting matchup we have later today and tomorrow for TL. Looking forward to those.
Hey, I will say also, depending on how the Team Liquid Academy and the Cloud9 Academy series goes later today, it could mean that tomorrow's series between Team Liquid and 100 Thieves will determine for a fact which team is going to be the #1 seeded team going into Proving Grounds. But only time will tell. We'll only find that as we get through our games. Let's toss it to a break. When we come back, we'll have an interview with the victorious 100 Thieves. Make sure you stay tuned.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Verizon post-game interview. I am here with Dan to talk a little bit about 100 Thieves, but more so about your own personal journey and stuff and your thoughts on these teams, because it's always nice being able to talk to the coach and assistant coach about stuff. First off, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, yeah. Yesterday, 1-1 was not so pretty, but we cleaned things up today, so it's pretty cool to see the progression of focus from day to day. So that's good.
Yeah, it was definitely a really strong look today going up against Dignitas, and Dignitas with a couple of new looks themselves. I know Gomsu is someone that you've worked with in the past. I want to know your thoughts about him playing for Dignitas Academy right now.
Well, I think it's definitely difficult because they have a rookie jungler, I think. So he was probably shaking in his boots, first Academy game. It is normal. And then coming back from, playing LCS back to Academy is never really exciting. So it must have been difficult for him to play with a new jungler, play with a new team. facing up against your old team. So there's definitely a lot of variables which must have made this like not very comfortable for him. But I mean, Gums is my boy, so yeah.
Well, considering that today then was a little rough for him, tell me a little bit about your experience with working with him in the past and some of the more positive things that viewers maybe didn't get to quite see today.
I think he was always really easy to work with. So you would just tell him something, and he would just pick it up quickly. So any matchup where I'm like really experienced in, I could just help him. Like GP, I could just tell him exactly how I think the lane should go, and then the next game, I would see that improvement. And it's also he was just like disciplined. No random shenanigans happening or just I think just the consistency and just his attitude were about the best things about his him as a teammate, let's say.
Okay, and I guess I should ask you a bit about 100 Thieves as well going into this. I know that you are a bit newer to coaching. You were a pro top laner before in the past. So how has that transition been from playing to coaching, and how do you feel like that helps you be able to teach people in a similar role as yourself, like tenacity?
um I think it's just easier to really connect with players because coaches who were not players before, they don't really understand how you feel in the game. They don't really understand the individual parts of the game that well. And as a coach, you really know how a player feels. If he's tilted, if you know, like coaches just see the entire map. No fog of war most of the time, so it's hard to really put yourself in that position. It's like really simple for me to understand how a player just feels in the game, and also Milan. I mean, tenacity. You know, it's really easy to like connect with him. 6'2" as well. Gym rat, absolutely handsome looking. So it's like really simple to, uh, you know, like he actually reacts really well to feedback, which is surprising to me because I thought his ego would be through the roof. But luckily for both of us, it's like um, he's a little bit like me back in the day. Where he knows he's really good, and it's like really simple for him to like learn new champions and everything. So it's like really easy to like work with him. I'd say. Well, most of the time.
Any clarifications on the most of the time, or is that stay behind
I
closed
shall not.
doors?
I shall not speak.
All right, all
I
right.
don't want to get in trouble.
Fair play. I understand. I had to ask, just test the waters a little bit. So last week of Academy, before we head into Proving Grounds, how are you feeling about these amateur teams that we're seeing, especially 100 Next, considering Sniper is someone as well that I believe you work with?
Mm, yeah, I think last year the amateur scene was a little bit stronger because they had like Maryville. I think nowadays, I think it's mostly just 100x. That's academy level. I think the rest, I won't lie, I haven't been looking too much into it, but I think amateur level is just from what I've seen, 100x is pretty good. I mean, Sniper is just a really big talent, so like I have a lot of respect for him. But I also really like their jungler. He like talks a lot, and he seems to really help the team with their macros. So I think they have a pretty good dynamic going, which is cool.
Okay, yeah, it's definitely something that we know on our side that we need to be watching out for them, but I like hearing that from your thoughts as well. Last thing before you go, talking a little bit about your own pro playing past. I know that you got to play with Leader at some point, who's now finding himself in Academy for Golden Guardians. I'd love if you could speak a little bit about your experience playing with him and now seeing him here in NA.
It's definitely wild because last time I played with him was 2019, I think.
Yeah, around there.
Yeah. And I think he's among my top 3 favorite teammates to ever have played with, for sure. So, like, I really, really like playing with him because we would like lane swap, top to mid, and he wouldn't really be a mid laner; he'd be more like a solo laner, and we'd like really understand each other. So, seeing him here is like, I mean, he had a bit of an oopsie moment yesterday, thrice. Um, but he's the same, like mechanically gifted, slightly inting player that I had back in the day. So it's just like really cool to see him here again. Like I have a lot of respect for him.
It's funny to see how the paths cross again. It's kind of a small world, crazy to see. But thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me, Dan. Dan, have a great rest of your day. Okay.
Thank you. Likewise.
Thank you. All right. Back over to the desk